Excuse me. What in the world are you thinking?
Mean Gene, the first thing you need to do is to tell these people to shut up if you want to hear what I gotta say.
What up, y'all? It's KM56 Ninja in the place to be for a Paper Saber universe. This is the New World Podcast, brother. Woo-hoo-hoo. We are at the end of the week, and I just saw Collision Battle of the Belts back-to-back 3 hours of AEW. It felt like a pay-per-view I was going in. But the best thing about this was that there is at least some time limits we have to do when it comes to live television. So I was thankful for that. We're in Norfolk, and we got Tony, Kevin, Nigel on commentary. It's January 13th, 2024. We kick it off with Collision first and then Battle of the Belts next. But before we get into that, a lot of news came out of this weekend because not only was it Collision, we had New Japan Pro Wrestling's Battle in the Valley, and we had TNA, the big return of TNA Wrestling, Hard to Kill. And Mercedes Moné was there. Dana Brooke, now Ash by Elegance is her name. And we also had Nick Nemeth. Yes, Nick Nemeth is signed with TNA. Got in Moose's face and took down Moose, and then got in the crowd, ripped a really nice Motley Crue shirt, exposing that he's with TNA. He has the TNA shirt. And then Mustafa Ali shows up at Battle in the Valley, you know, and he's issuing challenges and stuff like that. Not only that, then we have Jungle Boy finally making an appearance, and has a bigger beard, and he comes out, and he puts up this paper that says AEW on it. He rips the contract, and it's like, bye-bye, Tony. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on, folks, here in the world of professional wrestling, all in one day. It just seemed like I was getting texts, I was getting tweets thrown at me and stuff like that. People were like, "Did you hear?" And I'm like, I'm at work, you know. So I'm it was just a lot to process. And then going into Collision, and we have Battle of the Belts, man. It was like Christmas in January. So a lot going on there. I'm excited to. I'm more interested in seeing where Mercedes is gonna go. I'm thinking WWE, just because, you know, she has this tease there and there, but, you know, anything could happen. I heard deals fell through, but we hear that all the time. But Dana Brooke, though, Ash by Elegance now in TNA, that's going to be a strong roster. And Nick Nemeth being in TNA was really cool. Jungle Boy, I want to see what Jungle Boy is going to do in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And Mustafa Ali, too, because he's on his big tour and whatnot. So there's a lot going down, and TNA's Hard to Kill. I caught some of the highlights, and it looked like a fun show. I think I'm going to subscribe to the TNA Plus. I'm like, do I need to add one more show into the roster of my week? And that's Thursday nights, you know, TNA's Impact and everything. So I'm still contemplating, but I want to watch Hard to Kill first so I can get some sense of stories, where we're going and whatnot. And this is a fresh new beginning for TNA, and it's like, welcome back, and it's pretty awesome. And then you got New Japan, and we have AEW, we got WWE, man. The wrestling business is good, brother. And we started off with the Cope Open. I don't know why it doesn't call it the Copeland Open. Like, that rhymes a little bit better. But Adam Copeland comes out, cuts a promo, and he's like, "Hey, I'm in my gear. You know what this means." And we get Lee Moriarty coming out with Shane Taylor introducing him and said, like, "This is Lee. This is, you know, he's a bad man. He's going to take you out, Adam." And, of course, Adam Copeland wins. And then I realized for this, because he says he wants to work his way back up to face Christian Cage for that championship. So what is he going to do? He has an open challenge. And what's going to happen? He's going to probably win every single fucking one just so he can get an opportunity to get it, you know. So I was like, okay, sure. You know, that's what what this whole thing's for. Why not? And he cuts a promo after, and he basically tells Christian Cage, like, "Hey, I haven't forgot about you, and you better not forget about me, because I'm coming after that ass." We got Lexi backstage with FTR and Daniel Garcia. They are ready for their big match in the main event of Collision. Then Lexi with Sammy and Chris Jericho. I don't know. And then I was reading reports, too, that they were piping in some crowd sounds for Jericho just so you couldn't hear some boos and stuff like that. I'm very happy with the outcome of what happened at Battle of the Belts, and we'll get to that soon. Ring of Honor 6-man Tag Team Championship. And I completely spaced off about this. Because when the Gates of Agony and Brian Cage all came out with the championships, I was like, wait, what? I was like, wasn't Hangman Adam Page and the Young Bucks champions? I was like, wait, when did they lose those championships? And I had to go through my notes, and they lost those titles to the Gates of Agony and Brian Cage on November 1st of last year. And I was like, oh, and this is what's so cool about having notes about all these shows so I can go back and play detective. And I was like, oh, okay. And, I keep forgetting the Ring of Honor 6-man tag team championships is a thing. But they took on the Righteous and Lance Archer with Jake the Snake on the side. This was a fun match. This was a really fun match. I don't know what we're doing with the Righteous, though. Like, this whole group with him and Lance Archer and Jake the Snake leading the way, like, they haven't been on television. I don't know if they're really doing anything on Ring of Honor, because I haven't been paying attention to that for a while, because there's so much other things going on, and sometimes Tony just filters in, these Ring of Honor stars, and then they go back, and I thought the Righteous was going to be something more permanent in AEW, and I like the Righteous. I think the Righteous could be great if they're booked correctly, and Lance Archer's cool, but, yeah, and then you got Jake the Snake, and, yeah, so... But Nana gets punched out by Jake the Snake at some point, but, of course... the Gates of Agony and Brian Cage retain those championships, and Nana cuts a promo after challenging Bullet Club Gold, guns up, baby, on Dynamite next week for those Ring of Honor 6-man tag team championships. And I was like, ooh, I must be tuning in next week to Dynamite. Yeah. Lexi's backstage with Preston Vance, and I will say this about Preston Vance: that man can be a star. Like Roosh, like I have very high praise of Preston Vance, and he has a big match on Battle of the Belts with Orange Cassidy. And I just look at this guy, I'm like, man, if booked correctly, this guy can be huge. I mean, huge. I just got that feeling. And here comes the Undisputed Kingdom, because Roderick Strong, he wants the International Championship. He wants to beat Orange Cassidy, but he gets in him and the Kingdom get in the way of Preston Vance. No Adam Cole, which is okay because he's hurt. We don't need him all the time, just when it's necessary. Next up is Dustin Rhodes versus Willie Mack. The Mack Attack. I can see this man. I can watch this man all day. I love Willie Mack. Willie Mack's the shit. So is Dustin Rhodes, man. And this match right here was fun. And I put a tweet out there. I was like, I can watch Dustin Rhodes versus Willie Mack all day, every day, twice on Sunday. It was just a fun match, a sign of respect, and shout out to Dustin Rhodes, man, showing that love, because I love me some Willie Mack, and Willie Mack is the OG, man. I love Willie Mack. I can watch that man him do anything. Him do anything on a cooking show. See him eat hot sauce. I don't know why, but Willie Mack's the shit. And this match was fun, but Dustin Rhodes got the win, and it was just nothing but love and respect after, so I put a nice little warm feeling in my heart. But the Bang Bang Gang responds. The Bang Bang Gang. They said, all right, we will accept your challenge, and they will face the Gates of Agony and Brian Cage next week. Hook is here, and I guess he went to Tony and said, hey, I want to fight. I want a match. Let's do it. So they went through and like, Squash Gang, I need a Squash Gang member. Any Squash Gang members? We need you later on in the show. Christian Cage and Dustin Rhodes get face to face and basically sets up a match for the TNT Championship on Dynamite next week. Renee's there as well, but Christian Cage, being a savage bitch like he is, he's like, oh yeah, this championship, too bad your dad's not here to see it. I'm like, damn, man, Like, he has the keys to the kingdom of Savage. I can't say Savage Burns. Oh, there. I'm just going to say it like that. I was tongue twisted. I was like, blah, 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 blah. Can't talk. But then, Dusty, the best thing about this, I put a clip on it, like on TikTok. It's just, he was snorting. I was like, oh, he's like a dragon. Dustin Rhodes is going to take on Christian Cage next week. Yes, please. And, of course, you had Nick and his mommy, and you had Killswitch or Luchasaurus or whatever you want to call him. Next up is Adam Page, Hangman Adam Page versus JD Drake. This was a fun match. Man, JD is a butterball of a dude, huh? Like, he can move for a butterball dude, so I ain't talking shit. Like, this man probably could wrestle around me like crazy. But, like, you know, there's a few awkward spots in this match. But overall, it was decent. But Hangman Adam Page got the win. You know, he's on a streak, and he wants to take on Samoa Joe. He wants the World Heavyweight Championship back. He also still has Swerve Strickland in his road to that championship. Next up, Red Velvet versus Deonna Purrazzo. I was like, okay, let me see what everyone's buzzing about. Oh, my God, she's in AEW. I got to say, I don't want to knock anyone. I don't like being negative, but Red Velvet was shining in that match more than her. I'm just like, okay, maybe I need to go back and, like I said, go watch some more matches and stuff like that. Like, it wasn't like when Mariah May made her debut. Mariah May made her debut, and I was like, fuck, okay, that's why you signed her. She can go. Deonna, I'm like I said, I was like, all right, you know, at a certain point, I was like, you know, I know Deonna's going to win this match, but I was kind of rooting for Red Velvet because Red Velvet comes out your mama's kitchen. Any mama's kitchen or whatever the tagline is, man. But yeah, I was just like, yeah, Red Velvet. I'm Team Velvet on this one. Hook comes out, of course, and man, the dude they picked to be the Squash Gang member here was a little bit bigger than Hook. Well, he was bigger than Hook. Hook's a skinny thing, and when they showed the graphics of him and Samoa Joe, I'm like, man, how? Joe's just gonna choke him out when he gets in the ring. He's like, get in here though. You know, I'm done and over. Hook will put up a fight. I know Joe's gonna work him and try to make him shine, but you know, this guy they picked for him to beat tonight, I was just like, oh yeah. I was like, so sometimes it just seems unbelievable. And of course, you got the Hook signal, and now every time I see the Hook signal, all I hear is Batman's music. Main event time, baby. FTR, Daniel Garcia versus House of Black. And you talk about a showstopper. What a way. This is my match of the night. What a way to kick things off here before we go into the third hour of AEW. And it's a back and forth. Daniel Garcia got a great spot where he sits on his ass, like, you know, and he gets Malachi Black like going like, oh hey, you know, and then Malachi was about to do the dance, and then he flips off Daniel Garcia. So many great spots, a lot of fun things. House of Black for the win. And if Daddy Magic's on commentary, so you know that makes K&B happy. I love me Daddy Magic. And they put the House of Black puts the attack on FTR and Daddy Magic and Daniel Garcia, but then Daniel here comes with the chair, and they got another chair. They chase out the House of Black. So this is not over anytime soon. I give this show a solid 4 out of 5. I got to say my match of the night is FTR, Daniel Garcia versus House of Black. Second to that was Dustin Rhodes versus Willie Mack. Fun stuff tonight. We'll see how Hook does Wednesday. You know, we'll see if it's booked correctly, if it's done correctly. We'll see. But yeah, 4 out of 5 for Collision. Now we go into the third hour for Battle of the Belts 9. We at the end of Collision, it was a brawl outside. Jericho, Sammy, Bill, Ricky, they're fighting outside. They're using everything under the sun. And then we close there. We start Battle of the Belts 9, and they're outside. It's a street fight, literally in the streets. They're taking out cars. Bricks are there. You know, they're using everything they can use. Street signs and stuff like that. Water bottles. You know, anything they could grab their hands on, they used in this match to go all the way. 2 big spots. Jericho going through a table. Sammy being a daredevil. But guess who helps them? Takeshita hits Ooh, he wrecked Jericho's skull with a kendo stick, and Hobbs pulls Ricky out of the way before Sammy could do his big spot and crashing, down. And Big Bill, Ricky Starks retain. I said, good. Now I hope Jericho goes away. Now that we can have this, he got destroyed. Let Jericho go away. Then we can figure out, and he can figure out his shit and go from there. And all these that allegation and everything like that, it's just Jericho go away. That's all I'm saying. But thanks to Takeshita, thanks to Hobbs. My first time thanking the Don Callis family. TBS Championship, Julia Hart versus Anna Jay. Oh man, Julia Hart has the best entrances in all of AEW. Like, she comes out, she gives me that Undertaker vibes, and the song, the house always wins. And she's taking on former buddy Anna Jay and talk about a fun match. Indeed, I really did enjoy this match. I actually really enjoyed this whole Battle of the Belts, this whole hour. I was about to skip over the AEW Tag Team Championship street fight because I just really didn't care. But they caught me with the end of Collision being like, oh, they're fighting outside and they're going to make their way back in. But right here, the TBS Championship was one hell of a fight between these two. Julia Hart retains the championship. Anna Jay's looking great. Julia Hart's looking great, man. And she's a superstar. She is a superstar. We got Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal backstage, Sanjay and Singh and Karen. They're trying to figure out the family troubles here, but Jeff Jarrett's not having it. He's like, hey, you want to know how we can fix this? Jay Lethal, get the hell out of here. And then Singh comes in with donuts and shit like that. He's like, hey, Jay. And he gets some donut on Jay Lethal's face. So eventually we're going to see Jeff Jarrett versus Jay Lethal, and I'm hoping that we get to see Jay Lethal at least advance into a more singles role and get back to his former glory. That's all I want. It's all I want. Now, the AEW International Championship, Orange Cassidy versus Preston Vance. Undisputed Kingdom comes out. They're sitting on the side of the ring to watch. And, of course, great match. And I'm looking at Preston Vance. I'm like, man, I really want you to win this championship tonight. I'm thinking we just got to strap the rocket on this guy and just let him go. But when the Undisputed Kingdom came out, I was like, yeah, there's not going to be a thing because we have to have Roderick Strong versus Orange Cassidy. And I think Roderick Strong is going to be the one to take that championship off Orange Cassidy at some certain point. Orange Cassidy retains. This was a real fun match, a really great hour of professional wrestling here for Battle of the Belts. I will give it a solid 5 out of 5. I had a really good time. And I got to say, the match of the night for me, Julia Hart versus Anna Jay. Second to that, Orange Cassidy versus Preston Vance. And last but not least is because some crazy spots and crazy shit happened in this match, the street fight with the AEW Tag Team Championships. I am very happy Big Bill and Ricky Starks retained. And all the news coming out, Nick Nemeth, TNA, Jungle Boy, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Mustafa Ali, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Mercedes Moné at Hard to Kill, the Ash by Elegance there, we got Battle in Valley, Hard to Kill, all this stuff this weekend, ending a week, of awesomeness, and now it's on to Monday Night Raw, and it's also on to my Detroit Lions. Hopefully they can take out Matthew Stafford and say, fuck you, leaving us and then winning a Super Bowl. God damn it. All right, y'all. Like and subscribe, share it, grab the bum down at Walmart. Battle of the Belts gets a solid 5 from me. And I realized something because I wrote the notes here. This is the New World Podcast Season 4, Episode 430. I know I talked about going to like 2 shows a week, but in my brain, in a little competitive side, I was like, I'm going to make it to 500. I'm going to get up to 500 episodes. Then I'll seriously think about the 2 shows a week breaking down. I'm like, I think I'm on a roll here. And I look at that number, episode 430, and I'm like, man, I need to tack on the rest. And it's a challenge to myself. I'm going to make 500. I don't know where 500 is landing, but it's going to happen. So, all right, y'all, hit that like, hit that subscribe. Tell me what you thought of both shows. 4 out of 5 for Collision, 5 out of 5 for Battle of the Belts. That's it. That's all. Go to ProWrestlingTees.com/New World Podcast. Share it with your grandma, share it with your grandpa, share it with the bum down at Walmart. I am KMB, the Sexy Ninja. And remember, the New World Podcast is for life, brother.
Beautiful dream you've concocted, Dustin. And it would be a bigger dream if your father was alive to see that happen.